Hello and welcome. Today we'll be talking about positive behavioral redirection and reinforcement, presented to you by myself, Brenda Venegas, Marjorie Soy, and Yanitia Lopez. For our table of contents, we have first, we'll go through our intro, second, basic principles, third, issues that arise, fourth, using redirection and reinforcement, and five, our resources. Our goal today is to educate you as educators how to positively redirect a child who is exhibiting negative behaviors and how to positively reinforce the behaviors that are of your liking and appropriate for school and during class time. This approach will help not only the student, but you as a teacher as well, as it is a way to help reinforce problematic behavior in a classroom setting. Since we know sometimes it's harder to manage more kids than just one, it is our job as educators to be able to know and understand why a child is acting a certain way in class. We also want to be able to support the child and their families as well, so we have a mutual understanding as of why the child may be acting out. Principles of positive reinforcement and redirection. Positive reinforcement is when you give something to the child when they perform the action that is asked of them so they can associate the action with the reward and do it more often. The reward is reinforcing stimulus. So, for example, you can reward the student by giving them a high five, clapping or cheering for their achievement, and rewarding them with a candy or so, and etc. Then there is positive redirection, which goes hand in hand with positive reinforcement, but instead it lets the child know what they are doing is not acceptable and they should be given an example of a behavior that is more acceptable. For example, if a child is talking while you are giving a lecture, you can have them sit aside, and after you are done giving your activity, your lecture, you can come to them, sit with them, and explain to them that what they are doing is wrong and let them know that if they do it again, there could be consequences. Or if they behave better and don't interrupt at the end of class, the student can be rewarded. You just have to make sure that the child is understanding you as well as you understanding them, understanding why they are acting out and why they felt the need to act out in that moment. You just have to work hand in hand with the child to come to an understanding and have something work for the both of you. So you have to teach the expectation. Define and teach what you want the student to do. Address the student's specific needs. You have to be concrete. Tell and show students what behavior you are looking for. Be deliberate. Use behavioral specific praise to acknowledge what the student did and be memorable. Make eye contact, use supporting, encouraging tone, and connect with the student on a personal level so that when you are communicating with them, they respect you and understand where you are coming from. So this bad behavior won't continue throughout the rest of the class or the rest of the semester or year.
Our next slide is issues that arise. Some of the issues that can arise for a teacher when handling disruptive behaviors is the fact that teachers are usually by themselves with a classroom of 20 to 30 students. The truth of the matter is that educators are outnumbered, which can make a disruptive behavior a stressful and uncertain situation for the teacher, especially when the teachers are not trained to tackle disruptive behaviors. Juggling a classroom that is waiting for instruction or might be frightened of the behaviors that they're seeing, while a child or group of children are not behaving appropriately and are not listening to you while you attempt to de escalate them, and their negative behaviors can be frustrating and can leave you feeling hopeless. Another issue that comes with disruptive behaviors is the entire class and lesson being disrupted. No matter what the behavior being exhibited is, you as a teacher will have to pause what you're doing in order to attempt to stop the behavior and redirect the entire classroom back to your scheduled lesson. If the behavior or behaviors is a daily reoccurrence, you are then taking a large volume of valuable class time away from all of the other students. Last issue we will be mentioning is one of the most important. Providing your student or students with resources and techniques in order to cope with their disruptive behaviors can be unfamiliar territory, especially for educators that are new to teaching. Not all centers and schools provide their teachers with the appropriate training in order to take on disruptive behavior disorders. If you don't know how to redirect negative behaviors, the child will never stop. And this, unfortunately, will continue to carry on and worsen throughout that child's life. Moving on to our next slide.
Though these issues will come up often in the classroom, there are also solutions that will help teachers navigate through them both effectively and efficiently. Classroom management is an important area to have control in, and when a teacher finds himself in a situation where they have to juggle a classroom of students while also trying to find ways to handle a child or a group of children that are displaying negative behavior, it can be difficult. One way a teacher can manage these types of situations is to talk to those children or that child directly and tell them that they have two choices. This solution may not be the most fun for many because some may think that giving children choices is the way of giving the child power. But in reality, when we give the child the power to choose, those choices are the ones that are being made within the expectations of your classroom. If one simply asks the child what they want to do with no choices, then they will have that power. It is important that teachers stay within the expectations of their classrooms. Along with these disruptive behaviors, the class time and the lesson gets disrupted. A way we can channel through this issue is to first see what the child or group of children are seeking. If their reinforcement is attention at all costs, then whatever attention is given to them, even if directed toward a negative behavior, will increase the likelihood that that behavior will be repeated. The teacher can help practice and reward how to appropriately ask for attention. If the child is seeking negative attention, the teacher can give positive attention to another student. That way, the student who is showing disruptive behavior can be motivated to act in the way that he or she will get positive attention from. Finding effective and appropriate resources for children in order for them to cope with their negative behavior can be challenging. In order to effectively carry them through these behaviors, we must find techniques in order to bring them out of their practices of negative behaviors and into the practices of positive behavior. Each child is different, and analyzing their behavior and reactions is the first step. Then we can see the patterns in which the child reacts better, or even worse, to the techniques that we try and implement on them, whether it be rewarding the child with stickers after exhibiting a positive behavior, providing them with words of encouragement, or even engaging in conversation or showing interest in what they are doing, which all serve as positive reinforcements.
So this next slide is all about resources that educators can use in their classrooms for children that are exhibiting these disruptive behaviors. The link I provided is such an amazing resource for all educators. Whether you're a teacher, vice principal, preschool director, ABA therapist, the link provides many free printable ideas, webinars, as well as other resources that can be additionally purchased regarding conscious discipline. One way teachers can manage disruptive behaviors in their classrooms is by having a quiet, safe space. The safe space is a small spot in the classroom that the children can go to when they are feeling overwhelmed, angry, or need some alone time. Providing them with a calm and some quiet activities, such as books about emotions, sensory items, breathing regulating images that children can use when in the safe space to regulate emotions. When introducing the safe space to your students, make sure they know how to understand the purpose of the safe space. The students then know when they're upset, rather than causing a disruption, they can go to the safe space and regulate their emotions and join the class when they are ready. The next resource I will be introducing is incorporating brain breaks and calm, quick activities into your lessons. Like adults, children get burnt out and sometimes need a quick change of focus to get them ready for the next lesson. For example, when transitioning from lunchtime to math time, start the class off with 5 minutes of meditation, playing some relaxing music, and ask the students to check in with their bodies. This then calms their energy and gets them ready for the next activity and will prevent disruptive behaviors from occurring in the next lesson. Lastly, Some students may need extra motivational help in order to make better choices. By using a system such as a star chart, that will aid in changing impulsive disruptive behaviors into thoughtful positive ones. Each time the child decides to engage in positive behaviors rather than their usual negative behaviors, add a sticker to their chart. Do not take away stickers. That's negative reinforcement and it doesn't teach the child anything. Once the child has reached 5 stickers within the day, they can earn prizes such as 10 minutes of free choice activity, or they can get to go to recess a few minutes earlier, whatever works for your students in your class. Thank you for watching, and we hope you learned as much as we did.